Um, most of the materials I put up on my webpage. So I do both. We have lab at 7:45 on Wednesdays. You excited about that? I'm not, but I'll be up. I'll be there. It's early. See, the thing is, when I was before pandemic, I was like 6 a.m. Let's do this. And now I'm like 9 a.m. Oh, what? So we're all gonna struggle together, people. 7:45 a.m. lab. Office hours. I have office hours directly before the class. I also have office hours on Tuesday, Thursdays, but I'm available at other times too if you need to. And everything's on Zoom, right? So the office hours are designed for me to help you and talk about physics or whatever you want. But I'm available at other times too. If these don't work for you, just let me know, because I don't leave my house pretty much ever. I went to the dentist a few days ago. That was cool. I went to Home Depot like a week ago. But other than that, I just stay at home. I don't do much. So anyway, yeah, it's not too fun. I got a bunch of kids here. They kind of drive me nuts. Kind of wish they'd go to school, leave me alone a little bit. I love my kids, but 24/7 is rough. I mostly send my kids to school just to kind of get a break, I mean, the fact that they learn something is kind of an added benefit, I suppose, All right, so that's the nitty gritty about the yeah, we're doing. I'll talk about lab in a bit here, but yeah, lab is Zoom. Fun, not fun. All right, so course prerequisites: completion of Physics 110. You don't need 120 for this class, and I'm just kind of curious. Has anybody not taken math? Has anybody not taken Physics 120? Because you don't need it. I'm just curious. Okay, that's fine. You don't need it, and I do teach the course, assuming for the most part you've not had 120. There's not a lot of topics that require it. Very, very little, and if there is anything, I'll explain it. There's nothing that's like, see, like in Physics 110, like you learn like the foundational stuff, right? You learn techniques in addition to learning topics. You learn kinematics, that's a technique, learn forces, conservation momentum, conservation energy, and such. Those are all techniques. They're physics, of course. When you get into 120, you don't really learn any new techniques. You just take the old techniques and you apply them to some new physical phenomenon. And 211 is a similar thing. You're not really going to learn anything dramatically new until we get to quantum, and then physics just gets thrown on its head, and then nothing makes sense, and then then it's Alice in Wonderland and stuff. Put it that way. So, yeah, you want to be in Math 160 though. You got to complete 110, be in Math 160. It's not that important. Math 120 is where all the heavy hidden math is. When we get into quantum, there's a pretty good amount of math, a lot of integration and differentiation. But other than that, there's not really any heavy math in this course. This is a very, well, I'll say that later, I guess. Advisory's completion of Math 220. I think that's linear, but you don't need to know any linear. I'm not going to do anything related to linear. We don't get into that. That's mostly for quantum. I mean, we're doing baby quantum, right? So if you learn big kid quantum, you got to start with a bunch of linear algebra. So, but we're not going to do any of that, unfortunately. All right, textbook. So we made a decision recently in the department that everybody's going to adopt a universal textbook, and that textbook is University Physics by Young and Freeman. If you already have that book, great. If you don't, you need to get it in some form. I do realize a physical copy of the textbook is quite pricey. I'm sorry about that. think the bookstore was saying $213. And I was like, is there like $100 bill stash in there or something? What's going on? Anyway, I wonder what that comes out per page. Like nickel per page? I don't know. Anyway, now, there's another option, which is an insane option, and I don't recommend this option, but the book comes in volumes. I mean, this is not, I'll just put it away, this is not an option, okay? The book comes in volumes, but we have material that we're going to be covering from all volumes. So, I don't know. I don't know how you guys get your books. I'm not going to judge whatever you do, but you need a book in some sort. Now, some of you have taken me for physics in the past, and if it was somewhat recently, then you know that I used the book, the Open Educational Resource book by OpenStax. I'm going to list that here as an optional textbook. It is free. So if you go to the URLs here, you can get a free copy of that book. The chapters and the material is very closely aligned with the Young and Friedman book, so it's a good additional resource. Your best bet probably for your textbooks, since you're in front of a computer for several hours every day anyway, is to simply procure a digital copy. And there's a link here for a digital copy of the book. I'm not sure how much it is, but I thought it was something like 60 or 70 or something. Again, you know, I don't care how you get your book, just get your book. The cool thing about the digital copy, though, they got like embedded videos. I don't know if that's good or bad or what. I just thought it was cool. But who knows? I don't know. I mean, there's enough video on the internet. You really don't need anything embedded in your textbook. All right, so course description and learn objectives. Anyway, that's it for book. We don't have a lab manual just because we don't meet in person and we are not going to be doing hands-on lab activities because we can't. And I'll explain a bit about lab in a moment, though. All right, course description. So this is an odd course. I'll be honest with you. It's a very strange course. It's a little uncomfortable. The upside is that it's not very challenging. Well, you can tell me if you have a different opinion about that later, I guess. But there's a lot. We got a lot shoved in this course. We got thermodynamics. We got optics. We got wave behavior. We got relativity, and we got baby quantum. And the thing is that most of those classes most of those topics are classes on their own. And we're trying to shove all these topics into 16 weeks, so it's a little awkward at times. I'm going to do my best to be comprehensive, but I'll just be honest, we're going to really skim the surface of a lot of stuff. You'll get a full thermo treatment. You'll get a full relativity treatment. You will get a full optics treatment. Quantum, like I said, is a little bit weird. We just barely scratch the surface of quantum. The stuff we do is very fun. You will like it. You will get an appreciation for what quantum is. And if you are more interested in it, I got a textbook for you. Actually, I got a really great book for you if you want to do a little bit more quantum. And that would be, Leonard Susskind, actually. Theoretical Minimum. Good book. Conceptual heavy, but in a robust way. So anyway. All right. That's the topic, so let's move on. Homework. So we do grades, we do scores in 3 different ways. Homework assignments, lab assignments, exams. Homework assignments. So let's go over and look at the webpage here. The homework will be posted to this webpage here. So there's already a homework up right here. And every lecture, there'll be a homework. So either just before the lecture or shortly thereafter, you will see a homework assignment come up here. Go ahead and click on that. There's a PDF that just lists all the problems. Some of these problems I made up. Some of them have been altered from different sources and things like that. The date it's assigned and the date is due is stated right at the top. And that's how you'll know when things are going to be due. Now, when things are due, they're always going to be due by class time on the due date. So this homework you'll have a week to do, and you will have to submit it via Canvas. I'll say something about that in a minute. By 3:15 next Monday. Okay. So anyway, you get the handouts here to do that. Okay. So you just got to know. Okay, this is going to be your responsibility here. Every lecture, come to the web page, look at the homework, do it. The way you do your homework is I'm going to have you solve these problems, do your work, all your solutions on a separate sheet of paper, or if you want to do it digitally, if you have, however you want to do it. But the thing is the way you submit the homework is you're going to submit it through Canvas. So let me go to Canvas here. So you'll see the assignments here, okay? They'll be listed by when they were assigned. And the due date will be listed here as well, right? When you click on it, I mean, you're not going to see, you see what I see. You don't see what you see. But what you'll see is you'll see the handout. It'll be there also. And then there'll be a place to upload pictures of your homework. So if you do it on paper, you simply take pictures of it. If you do it digitally, you can save it as a PDF or whatever. But do be aware, I am restricting file types to these. Basically, PDFs, docs, or JPEGs. And the reason why I restrict it is because anything outside of this, I mean, like if you somehow make an animated GIF, that's hilarious. But don't make an animated GIF for your homework. That's wild, right? One of the reasons I do this, though, is because a lot of people submit formats that Canvas can't do. Like there's some Apple format, HEIC. I don't know what the heck that is, but some file format that Apple has. Well, Canvas doesn't want anything to do with it. It just thinks it's a brick, basically. And if somebody submits, then I have to go and convert it, and yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. So anyway, I found that 90, I mean, I don't have statistics here, but like 95% of people submit these formats anyway, but I'm going to restrict it just so that now here's one of the reasons why I restrict it is because when you submit your homework and I go to grade it, what happens is I go to my speed grader here, and then what it does is it brings up, if I click on your name, it brings up the pictures that you submitted. And I can go through and I annotate in Canvas the solutions. So if you got something wrong, I'll point out where it's wrong, I'll provide a comment of some kind, and after it's graded, you can go back into Canvas and you can see all my annotated comments. But that only works if you submit a picture that can be displayed in Canvas. So that's why it's one of the reasons why I do that. Okay. So now, one other thing I'll say about this is in the past, people sometimes have had issues with uploading their pictures because, I don't know, for some reason, even though you had a whole week to do it, you're like, okay, it's 2:30 and I'm going to submit my homework, and then, internet's down or something, or Canvas is offline, I don't know, something happens. Worst case scenario, you could email me the homework and I can take it that way, but that can't be a regular thing. Don't email me the homework on a regular basis. This may be like a 1 or 2 time thing just because an emergency happened and you couldn't submit it normally. But I don't really like when people email me the homework because I already got my inbox is like crazy. Okay? And then I got homework in there, and there's a risk that I could miss it or whatever, I don't know. All right. Well, that's, I think, all I got to say about homework. Oh, no, I got something else to say about homework. Okay, so the instructions, make sure you read over those, but got a little note here. If I discover any evidence that you've copied your work from an internet source such as Chegg or by other illicit means, you will receive a 0 for the assignment and possibly further consequences. Okay, so just be really careful about this. This is becoming more and more of an issue, Chegg. Copying your homework from Chegg is not a good idea for a lot of reasons. One, because I swear, half the stuff I see on Chegg is just like nonsense. Like there's so many things that are wrong on Chegg. It's like crazy, and then obviously you're not learning physics if you're just copying stuff. And I got a Chegg account too. I have to have a Chegg account. I pay the $15 too, just like you people do. And I do it because if something looks fishy, I go on Chegg and check it out. So I got Chegg too. Stack Exchange, whatever, Yahoo Answers, is that still around? But anyway, just I understand people use things as references, and that's kind of murky, but sure, things not a good thing, right? So just don't do it, and part of the reason is I didn't have Chegg when I went through school, so I'm a little bitter. I had like photocopies of photocopies of photocopies of photocopies of photocopies of photocopies, and you could barely read the text because everything. I mean, I didn't do that obviously, but I heard about it. Okay, that's homework. That's homework. What else is on this page here before we get into other stuff here? I'll talk about that later, I guess. All right. No, you don't want to see that. What am I doing? Where am I? Syllabus, right? Oh, let's do that. Other things. Lab assignments. All right, we do labs on Wednesdays. We do labs via Zoom. So show up at 7:45, and all the labs that I do are from a website called, well, it's not called this, but Physlets. You had me for 110 by chance last semester. I don't know if anybody did. I can't. Now that I quarantine happened, I can't remember anything about anything now. I don't know who was in class, when, what. I don't know. It's confusing now. But anyway, if you look at my webpage, though, I have a link to where the lab simulations are found here. And how those will be conducted is you show up to lab. I will go through the simulations we're working on that day. I'll show you how they work. I'll show you any issues there are with them or things you should take note of. And then in Canvas, there'll be an assignment that has you go through various activities with the simulations. You answer questions about them. When we have lab, I'm going to put you into groups randomly. I'm just randomly going to put you in the groups. 4 to 5, depending on what the attendance is like. And I do that so, because we have a class of, 26 people? 26 people, and the Zoom session is a little chaotic. So I put you into breakout groups of 4 to 5. And not there. Groups of 4 or 5, so you can talk amongst a smaller group of people if you like. You don't have to say anything at all. You probably should, though. It's nice to chat with your classmates and get things done. And you'll work on it through the lab. Hopefully, you'll get the assignment completed by the end of the lab. But if you don't, that's okay. What I will do is you work on it as long as you can. Now, if you happen to be done or after 3 hours, then great, you submit it in Canvas. But I'm going to give you time for it. I want you to be in lab, though, and Zoom and work on stuff. But the Canvas assignment will not technically be due until the following week. So we will have lab this Wednesday on the 19th. And the lab assignment will be due on the 26th at 7:45 a.m. I mean, probably most likely get it done, in the 3 hours. But if you don't, you get a little bit of extra time to get it done. Looks like there's going to be a drive-by outside my house. You have like 3 different cars, like pull up, stop, stare, and leave. What is going on out there? Oh, my goodness. All right. For Wednesday, the lab that we're going to do is purely focused on learning about the website, how the physics simulations work. We're going to go over some really basic stuff about it, okay? Now, you'll notice in my syllabus here, if you scroll down a wee bit, there is a, where is it? Where is it? Lab tardiness. So here's the deal with that. It's 7:45. I get it. But you got to be on time, And you're allowed to be up to 10 minutes late. Because what happens, lab starts Before I put you in the breakout rooms, I'm going to start going over how the lab works. I'm going to start explaining the simulations and the things you need to do. You got to be on time for that. And if you're more than 10 minutes late, you will not be able to participate in the lab, unfortunately. So, yeah, well, it wasn't entirely my decision. I'm sorry about that. That's just where we could fit things. Yeah, it's cruel. I like it. I mean, I like it when it's not quarantine, you know? Anyway. But what happens after 10 minutes, I lock the Zoom session. I lock it. So you can try to get in. If somehow you get past my lock, then you're some kind of hacker, so I don't know, but you won't. Anyway, that's the rule. All right, moving on. Exams. We got a ton of them. We got 16 exams. No, we got 6. Never mind, we got 6 there. They're a different class. 6. A lot, right? Here's how exams are going to work. The day of an exam. What's the first exam? 2 weeks. Woo! Already 2 weeks. So here's what happens. Here's how the exams are going to work. On August 31st at midnight, exam pops up on Canvas. They'll be up there. You get 2 entire days to work on it. 2 entire days to work on it, right? You do like your homework. You write out solutions. You post it. You'll have until Tuesday. You get all of Monday and all of Tuesday to do it. But then at the end of Tuesday at midnight, it closes up. Okay, so you get 2 entire days to do it. And the reason why I do that is the test doesn't take 2 hours. Just to be clear. The test does not take 2 hours. I mean, 2 days. I'm not going to do that. The test does not take 2 days. But I do it so people can manage their time. The exam probably will take you a couple hours to do, honestly. But I do give the 2-day window so you can manage your time and you can really focus on getting it done. I don't really like, putting it up. Then you got to get it done within 2 hours because, things happen. Internet goes down. Life happens, It's not like we're in class and you can just sit there and do it. So, now that being said, though, because you get 2 days to do it, they're going to be a doozy. Those tests are going to be a whopper. I'm going to love making them. I'll just put it that way. I'm going to really like making these tests. They're going to be so fun. Oh, my gosh. All right. So that's the grades. That's how we do it. So there's 27 problem sets. I dropped the lowest score. 27 problem sets. Got 27 lectures. Right? Yeah, okay. 13 lab assignments. Dropped the lowest score there. 6 exams, 50 points apiece. Total points 680. The way you get a grade in this course, the way you get a letter grade in this course is I add up all the points you got and everything, compare it to 680, and you get a standard letter grade based on standard scale. That's how it works. Okay? Any initial questions about the assignments? Everything's done in Canvas. Everything's submitted through Canvas, I should put it that way. Everything's submitted through Canvas. Okay. All right.
Maybe not about the assignments, but let's say we are in the lab Zoom and let's just say our phone dies or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, how do we get back in?
You try. I mean that's the thing. That's why I don't make him the end of the lab session. If something happens, try to get back in. If your internet goes out, right? Your house got hit by, I don't know, like an asteroid or something, and that makes your internet go out. Acts of God, that happens, right? So, as soon as you can, shoot me an email, say, hey, something happened with my internet, and it's fine. The downside is you won't have your group partners to work with. You'll be on your own, but you'll get the assignment done when it's due. So I'm flexible here. I understand what we're doing. This is challenging times, and sometimes technology doesn't always cooperate. So yeah, there was a question in the chat. To clarify, will you drop the lowest lab score and exam score? No, I will not. I will drop the lowest lab score and homework score. I don't drop exams. Exams are important. I do not drop exams. Drop 1 homework and 1 lab. And that's lowest score, which also means could be 0. So you can just be like, I could start the lab and you'd be like, I hate this. This lab stinks. I'm out. Well, you can do that once. I don't think you should do that, but you should just try. Anyway, late work. There ain't no late work. No late work. You got to pay attention to due dates. Okay? Check Canvas. Check the, I'll tell you this, labs, you always get, what does my syllabus say here? Yeah. You always get it, you get a full week for the lab. You got to work at it during the lab session. But you get a full week, and you always know when they're going to be due. They're due Wednesdays at 7:45. So submit them by that time. Homeworks. Well, you'll say in the homework assignment up here, it will say when it's due, what day. And it's always going to be due on a lecture day, and it's always going to be due by 3:15. Okay. Exams, you get those 2 days. Better get it in. Okay. So that's the late stuff. There really is no late stuff. Now, I'm flexible. When I say flexible, I mean like hard plastic flexible, like not very flexible. But I'll work with you if something happens. Something comes up, because things happen. I've had students get COVID and family members get COVID, and that just messes things up. And you're like, I need that time for this. You know what? Just reach out to me. I'm gonna help you out. If it's reasonable, obviously. If it's not reasonable, then too bad. But anyway, I'll try to be reasonable with everybody. Okay. All right. I think that's all I got to say about this page. Let's move on a bit here. Semester schedule. Well, semester schedule, you should interpret that as I need to read these chapters by this time. So I'm going to cover some of chapter 17 today. We're going to lecture today. You probably haven't read it. That's okay. But, by Wednesday, you should probably read. Okay, next Monday, read chapter 18. Okay, a lot of these things take a couple days to cover. A couple lectures to cover. Sometimes they're longer. Relativity is a little longer. Okay, some things are short. So anyway, we don't have class on. I know we're online and everything, but it's technically a holiday on this Monday, so we won't have a lecture that day. This one down here, though, we had Memorial Day. They stuck it on a Wednesday, which normally we shift it around. And so you won't have a lab that day, but we will have a lecture. However, I'm not going to require you to be here. I'm just going to pre-record it and put it up. So, All right. What else here? Some dates here that for you to know. Last day to get off my roster is 8:30. Last day to get a W and not get an F or whatever you had at the time is November 6th. All right, absences. So college policy is this. You miss 1 full week of instruction, I am in my rights to drop you. I probably won't do that because I'm trying to work with people and be nice. But the way I take roll is, as I mentioned, you show up to the Zoom lecture, put your name in the chat. Before you leave, put your name in the chat. If you do that, you're here. If you have more than 2 absences, lecture absences and a lab absence, I'm going to bug you about it. I'm going to send you an email saying, hey, what's up? But if you're missing things excessively and after the first warning, yeah, you might get dropped. So just be careful for that. All right, I blued out the on-campus resources because you can't really get on campus anyway. But that's my standard syllabus stuff. I didn't want to take it out, but you can't do it anyway. All right, reasonable accommodations. If you have a legally protected disability under California law or the ADA or federal law or anything, and you believe you need reasonable accommodations to fully participate in the class, please let me know. If you've made arrangements to the OSD office, they probably reached out to me already. If you have not, I can put you in contact with them. But regardless, whatever the situation is, let me know what I can do to help you do well in this class or be able to fully participate in the class. Please reach out to me and let me know what that is. Okay. Academic violations, I already explained about the check stuff. You checkers out there, better watch it. Better watch it. And the rest of this is just, I plagiarized the college catalog to teach you about cheating. Ha ha ha. Anyway. Final thoughts. Okay. Ah. Oh, funny bone. Whoa. Okay. So, let me go through the final thoughts. The best way to ensure success in my class is by reading your textbook, coming to class every day on time, participate by taking notes in class, ask questions if material is unclear, complete all homework and lab assignments. The number one reason students do not succeed in this class is they do not put forth effort in the aforementioned categories. So, if you've had me before, you know how I structure my courses. If you've not had me before, I have a lot of structure. I believe in a lot of structure. I give you direction, very clear what the things you have to do. The ideal situation's this. You read your textbook before anything else. Read the textbook, start absorbing the material on your own. You may not get everything on your first read through. That's fine. But what you could do is when you read that textbook, you start formulating ideas in your head. You start figuring out what you get, what you don't get. You can be prepared with questions. Then you come to the lectures and you pay attention to the lecture. Now, as you notice on my webpage here, I do provide my lecture slides. They are available to you. So don't be concerned about having to write down things on my slides. You should not do that. Taking notes are perfectly fine. But when it comes to my slides, they're all here. I have in two different formats. They're in a standard format, which is just a slide per page. Or they're in a notes format, which some people like to take these and print them out. And the way that these are structured, you can take little notes on the side for each slide. It's up to you. You don't have to do any of this stuff, but it's nice to have. But the lecture slides are here. And then I record all my lectures, right? So it's nice because if I went over something and you didn't quite get it, eventually you can come back and watch that portion of the lecture, watch the lecture again. Lecture examples. I work out a lot of problems in class, and I will make those available to you. So if I work out a problem in class, you don't have to sit there and copy everything down. I will make my solutions to my in-class examples available here. Okay, so you listen to the lecture. Now it's time for you to really get your studying done, right? You want to go back over slides, go back over lectures. Start going in on the homework. Once you've heard everything, start tackling the homework. But if you run into problems, then you go back. You start studying these things again. Okay. Once the homework is due, I will post a solution to the homework. That's one of the reasons also why you can't turn in late homework, because the solution will be right here. And when you turn your homework in, you should do a couple things. You should go into Canvas and see if I left any comments. If you got anything wrong, you can see why you got it wrong. And then you should check the solution, see how I did it. Even if you got things right, maybe check out. Maybe I did it in an easier way. Maybe I did a different method than you. It's good to see other perspectives if there happens to be other perspectives here. But it's very important that you review the homework. Don't just turn in and forget about it. Really take the time to go through the solution or my comments and understand what's going on here. Same with the lectures. We got 2 hours of class, and sometimes, things go by pretty quickly, and you may miss the explanation of some things. But go back and make sure you understand the examples. And if you don't understand something, well, that's office hour time, or that's email time, or whatever it is, But a lot of structure in the class. If you do everything I ask you to do, okay? If you do everything I ask you to do, you will probably do well in the course. Probably do well. I don't know for a fact. I can't guarantee anything here, right? You'll probably do well. Okay, it's no surprise that, when I look at the grades at the end, people with A's, they do all their work. People with B's and C's are worse. Well, B, you can do all your work, whatever. But like a C almost always is usually you look at the C's and miss an assignment, miss an assignment, miss an assignment. That's usually what's going on there. So it's a lot of work. You really got to study for this class. Everybody's taken physics before. You sort of know what you're getting into here. I mean, for me, when I took physics for the first time, it was the first class I actually had to study for. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but like I look back and like why was I such an idiot, you know? But like every other class, I could just sit in lecture and just get it and do it. And then physics was the first class I actually had to like study, and that kind of like threw me for a little loop. I was like, whoa, this is weird. And then next thing I know, I'm studying a lot, and then a lot, and then next thing you know, I'm majoring in it, and then next thing you know, I'm teaching it. Oops, I'm going a little too far. All right, so anything else on the syllabus that you need to know about? I got more things to say here about the course, but as far as the syllabus is concerned, I think I got it all. All right, so let me just go. Well, I think I really said everything about the webpage too. I will try to make these lecture slides available at least 24 hours before class. I will try. I mean, they will be up by class time, guaranteed. I'll try to put them up 24 hours ahead of time, though. It's a little tough to do that. Video lectures, it just takes, what happens after I record the lecture, I got a whole process here. I gotta upload it to a server, and then you have a different computer where I do my video work, and so then that's got a process. I got to do my edits, and then I got to upload it to YouTube. So these will all be YouTube links here. But this just takes a little bit of time. I mean, like I had my 120 lecture earlier today, and that class ended at 12:20, and I think YouTube's already processed the videos, are already up, and so it doesn't take too long. But the video lectures will be up by the end of the day at least, and then the lecture examples I'll put up right after class. Okay, I think I covered everything about the operation of the course. Does anybody have any questions yet?
Do we have like a general idea of what are going to be on the exams?
Well, I'll give you a study guide ahead of time, and I'll give you some. I'll provide you a study guide, to put it that way. And the study guide are just a group of sample problems that I think are things you should know. I don't know exactly how I will format my tests. I never really know until about a week beforehand. I will tell you generally, though, the way I structure tests is there'll be a series of multiple choice questions that are based on conceptual things. 6, 8, 10, 12 maybe. Depends on what the material is. They're focused on conceptual things. And then there will be a series of free response questions similar to homework and stuff like that. Just to let you know, if you're worried, if you're asking about maybe the difficulty of any of those things, the test. Oh, that's not true now. I don't know. I don't know. I'll just, before a test, I'll make a study guide and I'll just talk to you about it. That's all I can really tell you right now. So, yeah. Anything else? Okay. So, just to tell you about how the structure of the Zoom lecture works, we show up and I have introductions and announcements and things like that, and then I'll start lecturing. If you have questions or anything, interrupt me, raise a hand, whatever you want to do. A couple times in the lecture, I'll have in-class activities. Now, when we're on campus, when I teach this course on campus, these are actually things we do in the class. I'll give you a problem, and you work out the problem, and you actually turn it in for a score. I didn't really want to do that in this environment, but I still have the in-class activities. So what will happen is, at some point in the lecture, I will get to an in-class activity, and I treat that as sort of a break as well. Okay, so when I get to the in-class activity, we take a break. And I'll give you maybe 10 to 15 minutes to work out the problem. Put into practice what we're doing. And then at the end of that time, again, 10 or 15 minutes, something in that range there, then I'll work out the problem so you can sort of see if you did it correctly. But I think it's good to, you absorb a bunch of information in the lecture, and then you put it into practice right then and there. But I'm not going to make it worth points. You're not going to turn it in. But it's something you should do to see if you're learning, see if you understand what you're doing here, and then I will show you the exam. Then I'll work out the problem myself, and then we move on from there. So when we do in-class activities, they're meant as breaks. I might get up and walk away, but anyway.